I would never do anything to hurt myself, but I'll confess something. If one of those buses went off the road and smashed into my car, taking my life and my family to get the life insurance policy, at that moment, I wouldn't be mad at God. That's how depressed I was. Thank you, Danielle. When I first started in sales, I was horrible. I literally couldn't sell water to someone dying of thirst in the desert. And I was so bad that I was put on the dreaded Performance Improvement Plan, better known as a PIP, but even better known as a path straight to death and hell. If you don't know what a PIP is, it's basically a business giving you notification that if you don't get your act together, you're fired. It wasn't my work ethic. I outworked everyone. I was even recognized for that. It's probably why my managers gave me so much time to improve. And I couldn't blame the market. Everyone at my firm was making record-breaking deals. Problem was, I wasn't. There was no one else for me to blame but myself and my messy desk. And I remember one night, I sat outside a QT parking lot watching buses pass by. And I looked at my hands on the steering wheel, and I could see my knuckles were turning white. The pressure was getting to me, and depression was setting in. And with a newborn baby, a wife who was a stay-at-home mother, a grandmother that was living with us, and being in the middle of COVID, I was mentally starting to break. I would never do anything to hurt myself, but I'll confess something. If one of those buses went off the road and smashed into my car, taking my life and my family to get the life insurance policy, at that moment, I wouldn't be mad at God. That's how depressed I was. As a kid in high school, I was always a loser. I never won any awards, never won any championships, never got recognized for any academics. I barely got through high school, and I dropped out of college. I was a loser. And that voice that was telling me I was a loser was louder than anything else. But as I sat in that car, something else was starting to stir up inside of me. You see, this wasn't like other times. This wasn't something I could just quit. There was way too much at stake. I had a family. I had a child. Everyone was relying on me. So I said, screw it. I will be great at this. I will be the best that I can be. I will work the hardest, and I will prove everyone wrong. And even if they do fire me, I'll go get another sales job and another sales job and another sales job, but I will be great at this. And today, this is what I did, going back a second before I mentioned. I read every single book I could. I watched every YouTube video. I listened to every program. I paid for courses. I paid for coaches. And today, I am the top virtual sales representative, and I am top 5 in a company that does over $100 million a year in sales. And I also now teach creatives how to position their work, explain their value, so they can win the work they want to win. And there's a reason I'm telling you this, because I believe many of you in this room may be exactly where I was back then. And it's not because you lack the work ethic. It's not because you lack the skills. You have your portfolios. You have proof of your work. But when it comes time to show the work and explain the work, something breaks. Something isn't adding up. Something, whatever you're communicating, isn't coming across, and you're wondering why. And that's because maybe some of you, just like I was those years ago, are directionless. Because the reason why I struggled to pitch myself was because I too was directionless. Like a ship at sea with no compass, just hoping to find land And while everyone needs hope, hope is not a strategy. And so while I have a limited time with you today, what I'd like to do is give you a condensed version of what it nearly took me a decade to learn. And so we are going to walk through how to pitch yourself. We're going to talk about the purpose of a pitch. We're going to talk about how to structure a pitch. And I'm going to actually do something for you. I'm going to pitch to you in this room and give you a live example of what that looks like in real time. And I also have a little gift for everyone, okay? I've developed a pitch cheat sheet. It's a template that you can use to fill out your own pitch and structure it according to all the resources and information we're going to do here today, okay? All right, let's get started. The purpose of a pitch. Let me ask you this question. Why should someone buy from you? Why should someone who probably doesn't know you trade their money to you for your service? Even if they need your service, there are thousands of other graphic designers who can do their work just as good as you, right? Why should someone buy from you? And I think a lot of times this is where we start to break, isn't it? Because a lot of times you have your portfolios, but they lack explanation or strategy or reasoning of why you did what you did. And so you can't always explain the decisions you made or the problems you solved or the outcomes that came from that. Why should someone buy from you? And when we have an answer to that question, well, I'll say this. I'm not going to put anyone on the spot, but when I do workshops and I ask this question, I get all kinds of platitudes. People will say, I work harder than everybody else. People will say, my product is the best, whatever, XYZ, da, 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 da. Or worse yet, I'm the cheapest. In a day and age with the ever-continuing boom of social media and the decentralization of entertainment into things like Meta and YouTube, there has never been more opportunity for graphic designers. That's the good news. The challenging news, there's way more competition. From massive creative agencies to AI image generators, the competition has never been more fierce. So I ask again, why should someone buy from you? And when we have this answer, we develop something we call a USP. It's called a unique selling proposition. Think of someone selling billboard space for a second, okay? To businesses, for advertising, for whatever reason. That person has to be able to explain why billboards are a better option than social media marketing, or even mailers, or any other form of marketing. And for you as graphic designers, you have to ask yourself, what makes you, your product, your designs, what makes it unique? Now, I'll say this. I know that maybe this conversation, maybe the first time someone has explained what a USP is, or at least in those words. So I don't expect anyone in the room to have an answer right this second, okay? But I will ask you to make it a mission when you leave here today to have an answer for when someone says, why should I buy from you? You have something that's unique to yourself. Because that's really the purpose of a pitch, is to explain what makes your work unique, why someone should buy your services. And so when we know what a USP is, now we have to structure our pitch, right? And the biggest mistake I see, whether it's creatives or whether it's business owners, salespeople, even parents trying to discipline their kids, is that presentations lack structure. They throw endless amounts of data, they say endless amounts of platitudes, and people kind of just assume that if they just throw up as many words as possible and just keep talking and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking, that the prospect, the business owner, they're just going to whip out their credit card and be like, I'm here ready to buy. We all know that doesn't really happen, does it? One of my coaches tells me we mistake volume for value. We assume that if we just keep talking, it's going to work, and it doesn't. And so what I'm going to introduce you today is a pitch structure that has allowed me to close hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals, so that way you can apply it to your own portfolios. And so I like to call it, it's a 4-step process. It's educate, inspire, prove, and then price. And we'll break this down one by one. Educate. When you are educating someone about your offer, you are really explaining the features and the benefits. Features are what they get. Benefits are the impact that they make. Features are the means, benefits are the ends. And it has been my understanding, when something I have seen countlessly, and the mistake that I made years ago, is that people spend way too much time explaining features. But what people really care about are benefits. There's an old saying, people don't buy screws, they buy holes. Think of a gym membership. Do people go to the gym to get access to weights and treadmills and all these things? Or do people go to the gym to have more energy, to look better, to perform better in their sport? See, the treadmill, the weights, that's the feature. Having a better body, having more energy, being able to perform your sport, that's the benefit. And so to give an example for maybe graphic designers, let's say you have designed a landing page. It's got amazing call to action buttons. It's mobily optimized. That's great. However, what the business owner cares about is that when the person comes on their landing page, they're not confused. They don't drop off and just exit the page. And most importantly, they book an appointment or they purchase a sale. The landing page is the feature, but this is the benefit. This is what everyone is chasing. And so my advice to you would be spend the majority of your time on benefits. Or at the very least, spend the most impactful amount of your time on the benefits. Next, inspire. Nothing inspires more than a story. Do you guys remember a minute ago where I just told you my story of all my struggles and how I was outside that QT restaurant and I was just dealing with all the stress and I overcame that and I became what I became? How many of you guys felt that you could relate with that story? How many of you felt like it was maybe even a little bit inspiring and maybe this guy's awesome? No, just kidding. Inspiring. Stories inspire. And every good story that sells has 4 elements. They have a context. That is, where was this person before they met you? There's the challenge. What challenges were they dealing with? The switch. That's the moment they decided to use your service or your offer. And the outcome. And when we go through our little pitch that I may run you, I'll walk you through all of this. Next is proof. Proof. You see, anyone can say they're good. Anyone can say anything. This is America. We say whatever we want. But how do you know someone is who they say they are? Proof. So I would recommend if you have any testimonials, whether from other businesses that you've worked with, from professors, from instructors, maybe colleagues, or if you have any statistical data on how whatever you did help people save money or make money, this is where you would drop that. Think of a restaurant. If you're going to take someone out on a date, are you just going to look at the menu and go to that restaurant? Probably not, right? What are you going to do? Look at the reviews. Look at the photos of the food. You're going to look for proof, and we are in a proof market. Proof is everything. Because words make people interested. but proof makes them believe. So after you've educated the person on the features and benefits, after you've told your story, and after you've provided proof, now it's time for the dreaded discussion about price. And let's be honest, this is where we really break. Because when we drop our price, that's when it gets real. What I would recommend before you drop your price is do market research, make sure your price aligns with what's in the market, of course, and do some comparisons. If you have, once again, if you have any real data on how your designs, how your product has helped people make or save money, really good to put it here, and any results that you've gotten. Because think about buying a car. If I just told you this car is $30,000, sounds expensive, right? But if I showed you that other cars in the market are $40,000 and this car actually has better fuel economy and it can save you $2,000 a year on gas, well, now we're not thinking about price. Now we're thinking about value. And here comes the hardest part. Stay confident. Because I've seen some of the most seasoned sales reps, and even me myself, even today, when it comes to have price discussions, it can get scary. And we can tend to be doubtful about our own value. Stay confident. Say your price, give them payment options, ask them to proceed, then shut up. You will talk yourself out of more deals than you think. Silence. All right, so that's the structure. Educate, inspire, prove, price. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch you a fitness offer that I used to sell in the past. And what I want you to do, and what we'll do is after I'm done, I'll open the floor and I'll ask you where you saw elements of these 4 structures. And the reason why I chose a fitness offer rather than graphic design offer is just because I don't want to put words in your mouth about your own product, right? I want you to work on that yourself, and you're going to get access to the cheat sheet. So I know fitness isn't really what I want to sell, but it gives us a good third-party look at something else. Okay? All right. So our 90-day shed fat plan has helped thousands of people lose weight. And the reason why this is successful is because we focus on the 3 pillars that make a fitness program successful. That is proper diet, exercise, and supplementation. See, with our exercise plan, we tailor workouts to your bodily limitations and goals so you get the body you want. And when it comes to diet, say goodbye to dry chicken breast. We tailor the diet plan to foods that you like, so that way you can stay with the program and achieve the body you want. And with supplementation, we want your body to have all the nutrients necessary. And so all of our supplements, including our fast burner metabolism booster, helps you lose weight quicker, have more energy. Our creatine will strengthen your mind and muscles to work out more. And our plant-based multivitamin will ensure that your organs are getting the nutrients necessary to make sure you are living a healthy life. And all the data that you put in here can be put into an app that you get with the program that will be sent to your coach who for the next 3 months will work with you side by side to hold you accountable, answer any questions you need, so you can get that body that you want for life. And we've helped thousands of people with this program. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you a story about Alicia. Alicia is a mother of 3 in Kansas, Missouri. She's a high school teacher. She's an avid gardener, and she's the husband to a man named Rick. And after Alicia had her 3rd kid, she did put on a good amount of baby weight. The weight was impacting her so heavily that she was finding it difficult to play with her kids. Her knees were hurting so bad that she couldn't go out and garden anymore. And in a moment of real transparency, she told us that her self-esteem was so affected by her weight gain that she didn't even want to undress in front of her husband anymore. When we found Alicia, she was unsure if she could lose the weight, but she decided to take a bet on herself, and she decided to go with the program. And in 90 days, she lost 40 pounds. She can play with her kids again, and she's back in the garden. And her husband, Rick, is so glad to see his wife healthy and thriving and naked again. And we have so many stories like this. We have Steven, who lost kind of his purpose after a 20-year-long career in the Navy. He lost 30 pounds. We have Margaret. She lost 40 pounds and ran her first half marathon at the age of 60. And David, who lost 60 pounds and competed in his first bodybuilding competition. Now let me put something in perspective for you. According to Google, the average price of Ozempic is $349 a month. That's $4,188 a year. The average cost of liposuction is $7,000. But let me ask you this. What is the value that you can place on improving your habits for the rest of your life so you can keep your body healthy? Priceless. And none of those two other options help you with that. But today, we're not charging $7,000. We're not even charging $4,000. Today, you can get access to this entire program that has helped thousands of people lose weight for just $2,499. How do you want to proceed? So, that's the end of the pitch. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Only one person clapping? Come on, let's go. Yeah, let's go. So, question for you, and you can just raise your hand, I'll point to you. What did you see in that little example I gave of any of these four structures? All of them? Okay. What one stood out to you the most?
So I was a personal trainer.
Okay, awesome.
Yes. So I also had to like self-practice people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that after doing it for a little while, I noticed that one thing that people really like, and that you get them engaged is a big part of it was the education.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would do a lot of like muscle testings with them and everything, and like analyze their posture and stuff like that. So when I started, and like when you started educating more about like how the supplements, how they help, how they actually work, and you got a little bit more in depth into those things, people, and you show them your knowledge. People value knowledge a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes. Especially when you can show them how that impacts their life. You know, like how your posture, like it affects your knees, and how everything plays a part into your life and how it's impacted. That's a heavy part. That's what people like, and also how you can inspire them and how it works. Like you see all these people that also thought that were in your situation, that thought that they could not achieve it.
Absolutely.
But look how far they have come, and you have proof of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that justifies like the price. This is the life you want. This is how we can do it. This is why we can do it, and why it's important for you to do it.
Perfect. Awesome. Great answer. Anyone else? That was great.
Well, like the fact that you talked about other people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you made it like to where it's inspiring, and then they could also see that like, oh, you have proof about this, and you pulled out the statistics, like the education.
Perfect. Good. So the reason why I should do that, right, is because that same structure, right, of educate, inspire, prove, and then talk price is the same structure that can apply to your portfolio. I've sold freight, I've sold medical devices, I've sold hair straighteners. It can apply to literally anything. Because right now, currently, we're explaining our work, but we're not selling it, okay? So rather than leaving you alone, what I have developed is a cheat sheet, right? It's a step-by-step guide that will walk you through. It's a little Word format. It's not as pretty as somebody would make it, but it'll work.
Is it $2,000?
We can talk about it. It's going to walk you step by step through this same exact framework we work through, right? It's going to be easy to apply to your portfolios, and my goal is to give you the confidence when you're in those conversations. How many people here know how to use a QR code? Okay, everybody in a post-COVID world should know. If you don't know how to use it, get with me and we'll still get you access to it. What you can do right now is fill out the QR code. It'll take you to a form. All you have to do is drop the information, and then it'll get sent right to you. Oh, I have one other thing. The first 3 people that fill out the QR code get a call with me one-on-one, which is valued at $400. So what I'll do is I will leave that up there for a little bit as you guys are going through it. And I'll summarize with this. When you can explain your value, you can do the work that you want to do. And that is the purpose behind all of this. So, thank you all for your time.
Thank you.